Madam Claudia, and all of us that are here. I just want to say thank you for creating time and come to listen from us. I can see my friend and his family, Mr. Yorgan here. We met in Kenya a few months ago. And sometimes it's a bit emotional when you stand in front of people to share a story of transformation. And it really humbles me, because at times when you guys are seated here, you are talking about shoes. To us, we don't see shoes. To us, we see transformed lives. We see a woman outside there who would have moved out of her marriage because of looking and fetching for water, walking for distances, looking for water, being saved by your kind gesture and kind support that you provide to Waterstep. You might just think it's about shoes, but you are rescuing a girl who would have been raped on her way to look for water. Because that shows that people donate, that $1 that you give to us is much, because it's about lives. 10 years ago, when I was living and staying in a slum area in one of the villages in Nairobi, where a population of about 13,000 people depended on one toilet that was built on a sewer line. And everybody during the day, if you want to go for just to relieve yourself, you could wait there on a line, and not just waiting, you will pay 2 shillings, Kenyan shillings, just to access that service. At night or in the evening, you find people with flying toilets and scattered around the buildings, just trying to see how best they can help themselves. I remember times when now you walk around the villages and you will see broken water pipes, water flashing everywhere. People will think that this community has safe water, it has water. But in real sense, when you imagine where this water is coming from, and the kind of filthy and dirty drainages that this water is passing through, you couldn't even say anything, because whatever that you are taking in is diseases and sickness. And at some point, cholera outbreak, we experienced a cholera outbreak, and in the history of the country, in one village, we lost more than 9 people, and it was a concern. A few months later, as a young man, and someone who was interested to see my community transform, where I was at school, we had an experience, we had an opportunity to hear about Waterstep. And I remember during our classwork, someone, Raphael, asked, where can we do a project, a water project? And I stood in class and told my fellow students that consider me, because where I'm coming from, it's chaos. We need assistance, we need help. And that is why I had an opportunity to start my very first training with the challenges of internet, with the challenges of computer. I had an opportunity to be trained on how to operate an M100 and a bleach maker. That was a very brilliant idea that I had not had the rest of my life, especially when you are talking about use of water and salt to produce a very strong solution that could save lives in my community. It was a happy moment for us. Many years now down the line, I'm standing in front of you, people that are interested and willing to work with us in this journey of bringing safe water in Kenya. About 45%, almost 42 prison, women prisons, and a few men prisons have been reached out with a message of safe water, with a message of clean water in prisons. Not just the message, but as we all know, when we talk about prison, I think here in this city, it's a different story because you have a different picture. But when you are in prison in Kenya, most of the prisoners, especially women, some of them are sleeping on the floor. Some of them are being harassed and abused while in prison. They can't access even sanitary towels. They can't access even tissue papers. The food and water that these people access is very dirty. But through the support and support and training that WaterStep has provided to us as field consultants, we have been able to move in prisons across the country so that you can be able to talk about access of clean water. Not just access, but also clean, safe water in prisons. And today, I'm not even talking about accessing some prisons. I'm talking about even after they have accessed safe water, clean water for them to drink, we are also thinking of how can they be able now to make the reusable sanitary napkins so that they can also use our solution to disinfect the napkins in prison. What a wonderful moment and what a wonderful transformation that we anticipate, that when we are talking about having an office in Kenya, that even women in prison, after they have been released, they can be able to come to the office and be able to be trained more on how to produce chlorine, which can also be an income generating activity to the communities. It is very hard being detained for 30 years, 20 years, coming out of prison and you don't know where to begin. When the family has rejected you, you have been rejected by everybody. The family doesn't even want to see you, and you want to start alive in a community that you have been out of it for like 30 years. The only solution is now when they have had and gained a skill while in prison through WaterStep, where they can be able to produce chlorine for safe water, but again they can use that as an income generating activities. They sell it in hospitals, they sell it in schools, and they can start their lives again. We are talking about transformation in the communities. We have been able to reach up to like 30, 40 secondary schools. An average school in Kenya, a boarding school, has about 1,000 or 300 girls to 2,100 girls in a school. These people, most of the schools are dependent on the support from the government. Sometimes the supply or the government delays to disband the resources, and sometimes they have very little resources. So they depend on water, especially water. They fetch the water from the roofs of their classrooms. So when they fetch this water, after a very long time without raining, the roofs or the roofs are very dirty. And now these guys have to take that water, these students have to take the same water without even purifying it. But now when we go there with our M100 and we provide water tanks and we train them how to purify this water, like now 2 of our schools are producing bottled water. And when they produce this bottled water, which has been enabled by WaterStep through provision of the M100, this same water is consumed by the children at school. They sell this water in the nearby markets, and the money these students or these schools get, they in turn also pay school fees for the vulnerable children or vulnerable girls who cannot be able to access education. So today we are standing here and we are talking about that woman who walks miles, sits outside for days and hours, But through WaterStep, we have been able to make almost 18 water pumps, repairing and also replacing new water pumps. And through this now, these people can be able to go to the river, get the water on time, and go back home, and can be able now to take good care of their families. The girls that were supposed to have spend a lot of time fetching for water instead of going to school, now they can go back to their homes, and they can go to school and go quickly to the rivers or to the boreholes and get water. So today, as I talk to you friends, it's my appeal, it's my prayer that you save a life in Kenya, in Africa. That through your generous prayers, through your generous support, if we can be able to have an office in Kenya, those people can access us easily. We can be able to reach out to our communities easily. We can be able to attract other partners easily, so that we can be able to serve our communities from waterborne diseases and other diseases that are attributed to poverty. It is my request that you continue talking about this, you continue asking, you continue interacting with your friends, so that you can be able, even just one shoe can be able to save a life and can be able to sustain a family in Kenya. Thank you so much, and thank you for listening. I'll give us some time to ask questions, then I'll be able to respond. Thank you.
I would like to know one thing, when you get these water supplies from WaterStep, and the women and children, the young girls that are carrying their water on their heads or dragging them or whatever, what is the feeling like when they know that they can finally get good water right there close to home without having to go through that daily process that they have always had to do, go and carry that water?
I can quote from one of the ladies who told me and came to thank me, saying that WaterStep has saved my marriage. Indeed, most of the women and girls are the most affected in terms of water issues. In Kenya, there are some cultures where people believe that the place of a woman is in the kitchen. So when they lack water, they suffer the most than any other person. While the boys are outside there playing, the girls are out there looking for water until very late. So it's a wow moment. It's a wow moment when these mothers and the girls are able to access water. I remember my grandmother, an 85-year-old lady who has been carrying water on the head, when we provided the water bowl, and my grandmother could now put this, to her was like fun. She could go even twice because it was fun for her. It was something exciting. So every small bit that is geared towards supporting a woman to relieve herself from other things that will make her more vulnerable to them, it's a plus, and it creates long life and dignity to a woman.
Good news, good news.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
9 years ago, Humphrey told us, he said, I think that I can make WaterStep a household name in Kenya. And he has done it,
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why he's the one to run this office.
Yes.
We're just thankful that he's here. Has plenty of time to walk around and mingle and chat with you. If you have any other questions, just hail him down and he will be there. Good? All right.
Thank you for listening. God bless.